Here at the Institute of Caribbean Studies, we offer a bachelor's degree titled Musical Performance Studies. And that degree is really focused on students who are interested in an academic engagement in music. The degree doesn't train you to become a music performer. If you're already a performer, it really supports the knowledge that you have as a performer. But it's an academic engagement with music in the same way that any other subject at UWI promotes the core skills of critical thinking, critical reading, and critical writing. It basically, like all undergraduate degrees do, it teaches you to think, but the subject matter is predominantly music. The core of that program is really centered on musicology and ethnomusicology, and so the student has to learn to be able to read music notation up to some extent and analyze scores and be able to analyze sound and analyze music in a very critical way and document their findings in a way that can be transferred and transmitted to other individuals. I think the exciting thing about the program is that it's really focused on three different main clusters or concentrations. One is music technology, one is music education, and one is performance studies. And to give you a kind of quick synopsis of what the difference is, music technology really focuses on the way that technology has always been at the center of music making. We think of it as being something that has dominated music in the last 30 or 40 years, but actually music technology has always been around and has always been at the center of music performance and then music capture and music production. So the nice thing about the music technology courses is that it includes a lot of contemporary courses that people who are perhaps building beats or thinking about being producers would find useful. But the courses are not so much on teaching you what beats to make, but really to understand how the technology works. So courses like Introduction to the Digital Audio Workstation, there's an Introduction to Music Technology course, there's a course entitled Music and the Moving Image, discussing how music has traditionally been used in the support of movies and television and now social media and other forms of visual arts. The music education cluster really deals with how music is transmitted from teacher to student in a classroom setting, but other forms of music pedagogy and the way that music is taught and learned. That program can lead to the student become a classroom teacher. There is a diploma program that follows it, which is a one-year program, and that would qualify the student to be able to teach in a classroom. The other cluster is in performance studies, which really looks at the way that performers function and operate in a wide range of fields, not limited to music. It would, have discussions about perhaps the impact of a Lee Scratch Perry outside of his production role, and the way that he has added to the world of visual arts, and the way that he has actually been a kind of mentor to other musicians like Bob Marley. But it really looks at music in this wider context. And so the student comes in and they do core courses in the basic music disciplines, in music theory, in oral training in music, and in things they get a covering of subjects like composition, some arranging, and from there you kind of move out into the territory that you want to be involved with and navigate. The BA at the end of the day should provide a student who is able to critically think about this subject and to bring new levels of understanding to the areas that they're looking at. That is the hope. That's where we're going with it. Yeah, so a common question that we have when talking to students who think about coming into the programs, well, the parents often more than the students, but it is an important question that a student should consider as well, is what kind of career opportunities does a degree in music performance studies open up for me? And my answer to that is that I would like to think that first and foremost, it gives a student who has a passion about music an opportunity, or the performing arts, in fact. It gives an opportunity to that student, an opportunity to really excel in their academic work. And as any student has gone through this program and has come out and has engaged with the courses, I would like to think is well set to go on and do any secondary degree in any field. It wouldn't limit them necessarily to music or performance studies. It wouldn't limit them to stay in that field. But for those students who actually want to develop a career in that area, the kind of areas that it would take them into would be, it could move towards the performance side of the industry. So it could be working with media houses or record companies in the vetting of products that were going to be recorded and streamed. It could be on the use of music and other forms of the arts in media and advertising, for example, or television, radio. It could be in the way that music is used in film. But it could also be in kind of technical subjects where they could move into an area of becoming a sound editor, let's say. Or there's a range of new fields that are opening up that are related to this study, which I think the general heading would be content makers for the various forms of online media that we now, it's part of all our lives in terms of social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all these different forms of social media that most companies have realized, especially with the recent adventures through COVID, have realized that they have to engage in order to get to their markets. And the building of content and people who know, critically understand how creative content is made up and how it functions, and then also have the ability to critically think and analyze and assess how and where that music should be used, where it should come from, what copyright is attached to it, how payments are made, how you license music works, all of these various technical things. Our students will be geared to going into those areas, and I think they're expanding as we speak. The other thing I think is worth noting in terms of career options is that there are many fields today that students go into where it's very likely that they're going to change their job description perhaps several times in the course of their working life. And so I go back to this idea about having being taught to critically think, read and write. I would like to think that anybody coming out with this degree, there is no hurdle that they can't overcome in terms of transitioning through their adult life from one field into another, although it may all remain with creative music and art at the center of it.